Welcome to ESAConnection's Business Conversations. Today we're hearing from our guest speaker, Eric Whitmoyer with My Biz Coaches about how the right CRM solution can transform your small business.
Thank you, Tammy. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm excited to be able to share this with you. I would love for this to be a little bit more engaging and interactive. So happy to, throughout the presentation, I'll probably ask some questions. So I'd love to get some insight from you guys just because it'll help me fine tune the presentation. So this is I just recently tweaked it again, so I just want to get some feedback as well. So with that said, we're going to talk a little bit about CRMs and how valuable they can be to your organization, and then got some tips and tricks from you and probably some case studies that I'll share with you that I think you find value. For what it's worth, at My Biz Coaches, we work with everything, as I said, from exit to start from startup to exit. And that's important to understand because we have just as many solopreneurs as we do companies that do 10 to 20 million that we work with. So I know exactly what it's like to be a solopreneur. I too am a solopreneur in that sense. Yes, we have 17 coaches, but they all are independent coaches, right? So half of my business is teaching my coaches on how to run their independent businesses. So that said, I can relate to most of where you're coming from if you're a solopreneur today. Okay, so thank you, Tim. Our company, like I said, I've been doing it for 5.5 years. I started right before COVID, had to pivot during COVID, as many of us did, and consequently became a much stronger company because of that. But as I said, from startup to exit, we deliver actionable insights and proven solutions to help our businesses thrive in today's competitive market. Your growth is our mission. And then great quote that I thought was really relevant for as we talk about CRMs. The importance of gathering and using data. Information is the oil of the 21st century, and the analytics is the combustion engine, as Peter Sodergaard. What's important here to identify is your business, your ability to grow and scale your business is going to be directly related to your ability to capture information, very specifically client information, that you can then remarket, retarget, assess what your clients want from you. There's so many different ways that you can leverage that data when you capture good data. We actually have a podcast called The Biz Coach Show, and on that, there's a gentleman we had on the show. Harnessing Data Consulting is the company we had on. And we talked extensively about how important it is, whether you're a small business or a big business, being able to get access to information and make good, intelligent decisions from that information is so valuable, especially when you're a solopreneur. And how you go about it is exceptionally important as well. So this should be really important for most of you. If you are a solopreneur, you truly need to understand this concept. Has anybody heard of this concept of the 1,000 true fans theory?
No, I have not.
Okay.
No.
So Kevin Kelly is the founding executive director of Wired, and in the what he proposed was the concept that if you had 1,000 true fans, like really good hardcore true fans, you could build a sustainable business. As it explains there, true fans are those who will basically buy anything you produce or put out there to them. But if each fan spent $100 with you annually, you'd have a $100,000 business. Right, so a good initial target for many small businesses, right? And then in addition to that, it would not take much. $100 is nothing if you think about it, depending on what your offer, your solution is that you provide. Imagine if you had 1,000 fans that spent 250, 500, or even 1,000 annually. 1,000 annually is not even $100 a month. So when you think about it from that perspective, depending on what you do from a coaching or if you courses or whatever it might be, not unreasonable to build a $500,000 to $1 million business and be a full-on solopreneur. One side note, I do a fair amount of research in this category specifically. And again, I reference it's so important as a solopreneur. There's a gentleman I follow on LinkedIn pretty extensively, and he is chronicling his growth from a sub-$1 million to $1 million to now a multi-million dollar with a goal of going up to $10 million solopreneur business. So yes, he uses VAs and other solutions and outsources vendor solutions and things like that. But his goal is to go to a $10 million business as a solopreneur. So kind of impressive when you think about it. Now, again, this is leveraging technology pretty extensively. And that's part of what I'm about to talk about as it relates to the CRM. So let me touch on that. Why must we have a CRM? Must have and use. That's actually, there's an important component there. Having it is one thing, using is something completely different. We have many clients that have CRMs that never use them, or don't use them sparingly, or use them sparingly, or don't use them to the full potential. As a matter of fact, I have a law firm that spends about $20,000 a year on a CRM. It's a client access portal, but they spend $20,000 a year. They were using less than 10% of its capacity. And I mean that from all the different resources and tools that they could leverage within the CRM. What's important to understand is the CRM is not just a customer relationship model, but it's more importantly, it's a business management tool if it's used correctly. So as business owners, we face a number of different things: sales activities, marketing activities, a lot of things that Tammy was just talking about as it relates to posting on social media and things like that. We also do service delivery, like we provide our solutions, and we have administrative tasks like calendar things and scheduling and things like that, as well as keeping track of our clients' leads, right, and information about our clients, and maintaining consistent communication. And one of the things that a CRM can do effectively for you is bring all of your client communication into one portal. Instead of texting and phone calls and emails and all that, you can actually have it all filtered through your CRM portal, and read all that, including social media for that matter, all funneled through one CRM solution. So there's a lot that goes into it, and a CRM is not what most people think it is. So important question here is, do you know what a CRM is? Many people think they do until they understand what a CRM really is today. And so most importantly, the definition of a customer relationship management system that helps manage interactions, streamline processes, and improve relationships. But what it truly does is centralize customer data management, streamlines sales processes, enhances customer service, targets marketing campaign, or helps create targeted marketing campaigns, and performs tracking and analytics. So the data that we referenced earlier and how important data can be, you could capture that data in your system and have it to reference against your clients, and leverage that in a number of different ways. So I think that's one of the most important things that most people don't realize, that it's not just, you're not just putting it in there so you can send out an email blast. It's literally a resource that you can leverage to really manage your entire business. For most people, you're going to save time. Here's a simple question. How many of you have tasks that you do day in and day out when you engage with clients that you do on a regular basis over and over and over, multiple times with clients, or even with same clients?
Yes.
Everybody does that?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. All of that can be created in the CRM, so it's all duplicated. So it's not, you're not doing the work over and over and over. You can create it once and set it so that it actually sends out whatever information you want to. So for instance, a new client gets onboarded, they automatically get sent, as the automations are created in the CRM, and these systems will send out all the documents that they need to fill out as a new onboarding client. It gives them access to whatever tools or resources you want to provide to them. You could have like a series of, let's say, documents that you want them to have. You can have it automatically emailed out to them once you put them into the system as a new client. And then the system will automate and send out all the different documents that you want them to have automatically. So you don't have to remember, you don't have to put together a new onboarding client step-by-step process of all the different things you can do. You can actually make your CRM do all of that for you. Save a little bit of time, possibly. All right. You can organize and store your client data. That's probably one of the most significant things for me as a coach. All my client engagements are managed through my conversations, and I use Fathom, which is an AI software that actually records the conversations. That may not be relevant for all of you, but it's super helpful for me because I don't have to stop and take notes while I'm having conversations with clients. The Fathom records all of it, and then I just take that recording and I drop it into their account. And so whenever I want to go back and review it, I've got a one-page document with video links that I can go back and review. So we teach all of our clients that if you're doing any kind of client engagement conversation, like consulting, law practice, accounting practice, and things like that, where you do Zoom calls or something where you can record all of that, you can keep all of that in your files for your clients. Again, reduced missed opportunities. That's another big one. We see clients, they don't follow up on certain things. They know that they have tasks they forget to do. And if by leveraging your CRM, you can actually have that automated for you. So it reminds you and follows up on certain things. I even have mine set up so that after I do a coaching conversation with a client, the Fathom will bullet point 2 or 3 things that I'm supposed to do. And then the AI actually extracts that and sends those to me as tasks. So if you can imagine, the AI is actually telling me what I need to do. It's a pretty interesting develop as you create it and as you learn more about how you can use it, streamline and organize your business. You also have client engagement and client awareness. So your marketing, right? How you attract people. So Tammy was talking about using social media. One of the best things about a good CRM and a robust CRM is you can actually plan and schedule all your marketing, and you could do it weeks in advance. So no, you don't have to worry about, did I send out something today? Like what we teach our clients to do is take 30 days, prepare content for 30 days and prep it all in advance and schedule all in advance. And if you ever want to jump in and put something fresh and new in today, because that's relevant to the timing or something like that, you can always do that. But you never have to worry about whether or not you did your post or you put your information out there. You've already taken the time in a proactive manner to put it all together, and it's not a last minute kind of thing. That helps substantially because a lot of people have angst around remembering to do social media, how much time they spend on social media, all that kind of stuff. Plus, because you're using the portal and you're not necessarily using the template or the social media platform, it reduces the tendency to get caught up in reading a bunch of other stuff that you may or may not want to spend all that extra time on doing. There's certainly value in doing that research, but we teach our clients to allocate that time accordingly so you don't get caught up in tracking a bunch of stuff that may or may not be relevant. Track your marketing campaigns. Here's one of the big things. Do you know how many views, how many clicks you're getting on the social media content you put out there? By leveraging your social media platforms, you can actually house all of that through a good CRM, and a CRM will actually track all that data for all the different platforms in one place. So you could put the same post on 5 different platforms and figure out which platform is getting the best results for that particular post. Marketing resources and branding, all of your stuff in one place. That's another thing. How many times do you have to go to multiple different places to find this logo, or I want that picture, or I want this other thing? You can have it all in your CRM and then pull it all from there. So what you do is you set that as your repository for all your information, then you have it right there when you're building out your content. So, and then the best part is you're tracking your leads, your deals, your conversions, and you're actually seeing conversions. If there's a lot of people that get into a coaching or consulting basis and they do a probably less than desirable job about tracking those conversations. They're like, I'm not really a salesperson. I don't want to be too salesy. And I say, I understand that, but here's what you do need to understand is you need to know if you're going to truly build this into a business, you need to know that if you talk to 10 people, you can expect to get 2 people to sign up with you. Right? And if you know that 2 out of every 10 are going to sign up for you on average over time, then you know that you can at least probably carve out a decent business. Probably won't be terribly thriving, but unless you can get access to thousands of people, but at least you know what you can expect from that, and you know what you can build your business model around. But if you don't know that and you can't track that data, it's really hard to make those decisions. So it's kind of what I was talking about before as it relates to information. The more information you have, the better decisions you can make. And that's why we're really adamant about making sure you have good data that you can extract and make good decisions on. The next one we talk about is the client acquisition and increased revenue. So just like we follow the process to bring a client through our marketing activity and into a conversation, we also want to know how many of those people then become clients, as I referenced. We also want to know what products they buy. And with a good CRM, we can actually verify that all like whatever products that we have, it could be books, it could be workshops, it could be webinars. If you're doing a paid webinar, some kind of coaching session, whatever it is, you can track all the different products, right? If you have a service, it should be productized. You track it, and then you can actually identify what most people are buying from you. So you know what products you should be spending time on developing. It will also give you insight into what products you should spend more time in evolving and making better. maybe extending on or making additional solutions that extend on beyond the initial product you created. But you can do that when you track that data. If you're just kind of guessing, then it makes it really hard. Lead management, right? Who do you have in your bucket that you've talked to? Have you actually closed them? How many conversations you had with them? These are all things that you can track through this process. You also have the ability to upsell and cross-sell. So somebody signs up with you for a coaching program and you have a course, let's say, for instance, on goal setting and time management. Well, those courses would be really valuable to that particular client. You can market to that individual, especially if they've identified a need for managing their time better. So I could say, hey, I've got a great course on time management. We're doing this weekend workshop on Saturday. It's a 4-hour workshop you might want to join, and offer it for like $97 or whatever it is, and you get 10, 15 people to sign up for that engagement. So a great way to leverage that by putting those types of notes and comments inside your coaching or your portal for each of those different individual clients. You can also track what they click on in your social media and see what triggers they're clicking on, because it will allow you, if you know how to tag these correctly, how to track all that information. And then you get the reporting and analytics. You get insights and all that information, and again, make better decisions. Improving client experience and retention. One of the biggest reasons why clients lose clients is because they don't engage with them enough, believe it or not. Most people, when they say that they're leaving an engagement with a client, it's because they don't feel like they're getting enough attention. And or it's not focused enough to what their resolution, what they were trying to get resolved when they signed up for the services. So helping identify what that is through follow-up engagement. So for instance, if you're doing a coaching solution, you may provide somebody a message that says, hey, had a great session last week, wanted to reach out. How are things progressing for you? What would you like to see that would help you grow better, faster? What would you, what's additional information we haven't addressed so far that you'd like to see? And that allows you to kind of assess your client base and identify things that would help you do your business even better. You can identify at-risk clients before they disengage. You can throw out automated offers based on where people have shown interest. You can ask for referrals, which is probably one of the two biggest misses, particularly in the solopreneur base that we see, are people don't ask for enough referrals proactively. They wait for them instead of actually reaching out and asking for them. That's one of the missed opportunities. The other one is they don't get enough reviews. The biggest reason why most people struggle in small businesses and don't ever really fully get it into, especially if you have like a side hustle today and you want to grow it into a full-time income, the biggest reason why they struggle making that leap is they don't have enough credibility in the marketplace. Your Google reviews is your best way to get credibility in the marketplace. So getting people to give you reviews and identify you, that you're a great service provider and you do these things, you take care of your clients, you're always there for them. Those types of statements go a long way in helping endorse you, and it will help your conversions, because don't lie to yourself and believe that people don't do Google reviews before they buy a coaching solution or some kind of other type of service like that. If they do it on restaurant reviews, we're definitely going to use it when we're going to do a bigger ticket transaction, right? So one of the things we drive home extensively is make sure you don't discredit your reviews and how important a 5-star review is. And then the last thing is to make sure you learn what your clients are looking for and buy regularly, and you can do that through surveys. So you can reach out through surveys and say, what are other things you'd like to see, of the services we offer. So it's a great opportunity to use that for that as well. And again, all of these things can be automated. So it's not something you think of at one time, you take the time to put it together, and now it just goes out, and you can actually program it to go, okay, once the client's been with me 90 days, send out this survey and ask them how things are going. Ask them for the review. Ask them for what other things they'd like to see. So you can build all of this into your CRM. And then the last piece that a lot of people, smaller business owners, typically don't think this way, but this is something that we encourage them extensively, is understand the enterprise value of your business. Now that may sound like a lot, I'm not thinking I'm ever going to sell my solopreneur business, but the truth of the matter is, if you don't think like that, you won't have that opportunity ever. If you at least consider that, you have and you can build a business that is transferable that you could sell to somebody else, even if it's to a peer in the same space that would like to take over your client base. But that's a value. If you take the time to build this business, build it correctly so you have real enterprise value that you can transfer. Even if you could build a business that generates $100,000 a year and you could sell it for $100,000 on a 1x return, which would be reasonable, probably a little bit of a stretch, but depending on how well you built it, you could theoretically sell it for a 1x return. And a lot of people would be very interested in buying that customer base and extending their business by doing so. But that would be by doing the things that we suggest to our clients with these different solutions, and using a CRM or a business management tool would go a long way to help you do that effectively. It's not complete yet, but I'm actually redoing my site, and I actually have an assessment tool where you can actually go through that and ask a series of questions, and it'll tell you some of the things that you should probably be checking for your business. Really important point to remember is from a marketing perspective. Remember, anybody that's going to engage with you, I don't care what you sell or what service you offer. At the end of the day, it's a conversion of value, right? I'm showing you that I'm going to provide a certain amount of value. So as you engage with a client, they have to see enough value. Well, sometimes that takes a number of different interactions for them to see enough value from what you offer to be able to decide they want to do business with you. It's not as simple as having one conversation, right? As most of us know that now, right? And so not only do they have to see your posts on social media or read something that you've written or find some other type of information about you or do some research or go to your website, right? And in the old days when we were in sales, it was like, you got to have 7 to 12 conversations to convert a sale. Today, with as much data and information as out there, it's probably 20 or 30 points.
Oh, wow.
Could be a meme. It could be a video that you did. It could be an article you wrote. It could be whatever number of series of things that they see, because there's so much out there. The book that he wrote, Be Obsessed or Be Average, he talked about how important it was to get your name out there, because the biggest reason why most people fail is that nobody knows who you are. And if they know who you are, they don't always know what you do. I mean, I can tell you this, my experience of 5.5 years of being a business coach, because I was not clear on what I did. So like your elevator pitches you guys did, your intro pitches, because in the beginning when I started this, I'm like, I can do anything, I can help anybody. Well, anybody means nobody in our world, right? And so the more people I try to help, the more of a problem that becomes. And so the truth of the matter is I need to be very clear and very concise with one client, with one solution, and focus on that, right? Your ideal target audience. When you build that out correctly, you have one targeted offer to go to that one client until you get to a certain point. And then once you get to that point, then you add on additional products and solutions. If you try too many things too fast, you spread yourself too thin and never really bring enough value. So the value proposition is not there, and the client's not uncomfortable doing business with you, or like there's like, I'm not sure I'm going to get what I need. So, and they're not going to tell you that, unfortunately, right? So it's only for you to figure that out through that process. But we can use these automations that we referenced in the CRM to allow us to really identify. So again, I go back to the breakpoints. If I had, 800 and some odd people request to download, and I had 600 people actually download, and 200 and some odd people went through the 15 emails throughout that period of time, at each point I lost a number of people for whatever reason, right? Wasn't no longer interesting, don't really need that information now, whatever it might be. But the point is, through that period of time, I'm recognizing where I might be losing people, and that allows me to go back and identify where my value proposition might be falling short. To answer your question more directly, the things that we can track, some of the case studies we had a massage therapist who doubled the number of appointments they got per week just by adding a calendar function that they didn't have. Personal experience, I added 12,000 followers on LinkedIn by automating my marketing activity on my CRM. In the beginning, I did it all manually, and I posted the different platforms and everything like that. I was able to take 2.5 hours down to under an hour, or just over an hour, and eventually under 30 minutes by automating all of that.
Wow.
And again, like I said, I added 12,000 followers in a year. Another thing that we were able to do in 2022, I did 3 months worth of events. I did 54 events and collected 328 business cards. Initially, I only captured 30 cards. I had a handful of conversations, got a few transactions out of it. However, it had some good relationships. But what happened, my brother, a couple of months later, convinced me to put into a CRM and send out a campaign. And so we took those business cards. We had a software program that we take a picture of the card, it uploaded and populated all the information, and we loaded it into our CRM. And with that, within 2 days, he took a weekend to do it. He was able to get all 300 and some odd people in there. We sent out a marketing campaign and generated 6 additional sales coaching clients, over $10,000 in revenue from that. So you can track whatever it is you need to track. You just need to be clear on what it is you feel like you're missing on and where you can do better at. Another one was the massage therapist that I just referenced. They went from 3 to 5 appointments a week to over 10, just by adding a calendar function, because people electronically wanted to I just want to go on your calendar and figure out when I can do it. I don't want to go back and forth via text or phone and try and figure out when you're available, when I'm available. And so it immediately made that impact. And that was using the CRM. It was already bundled into the CRM. That's the other thing, is all these tools already usually in the CRM. Increased revenues. We saw this particular company, the rebooking, they were able to increase engagement with the therapist. So it was the same company, but not just the initial new clients, they were able to get people to rebook even sometimes twice in the same month to add revenue, right? So they were getting people who would prefer to do twice a month in some cases. And so they were getting multiple, 165% increase in rebooks. On this one, we're working with a lighting wholesaler that's 725 clients. By reviewing their purchases, they were able to customize offers. So what we did is we went through their clients and the stuff that they bought on a regular basis. A little bit bigger example, but what we were able to do is identify 5 different, so they had some product solutions they wanted to promote. We picked 5 specific client groups and said they buy these types of products. We marketed those particular products, and then we were able to generate $263,000. So it was a 28% increase in sales with less than a $250 ad spend. It wasn't even ads. That was actually upgrading the software that they were using, because they had a CRM, they just weren't using it correctly. And then the last one is the marketing agency. And so of all things, a marketing agency wasn't getting enough reviews. And so we went through a process to develop, and they were able to generate over the course of 3 months, 50 new 5-star reviews. I say 5-star, I think the average was like 4.85 or something like that. But they added 50 new reviews, which equated to an additional $50,000 in sales from the new clients. So there's so many different ways we can do it. The key is understanding in your business where your opportunities are. So, are you having, like Esther, is it new client acquisition, right? Is it client follow-up? And like I said before, it could be something as simple as I have documents or resources I want to provide to my clients, and I have to manually send them out right now. My CRM can do it all automated. That's one of the first places I go with solopreneurs is, well, what are you doing now multiple times that we can automate so we can reduce the physical activity that you're doing? A lot of people are like, oh, I need an assistant. I'm like, no, you just need to work more efficiently. Let's figure out how to do that with the solution you have in place that only costs you $50 or $100 a month, as opposed to going out and hiring somebody that's going to cost you $1,500, $2,000 a month, even as a VA, and you won't get the efficiency because you don't know to tell them what to do, but you can program the CRM to do it all.
Amazing. Oh, this has been so insightful.
Yeah, I'm sure it's overwhelming. I think Esther kind of summed it up. There's a lot of things here that we can absolutely help people with. The most important thing is, and I'm happy to. I do initial consultations, hour-long consultations, no charge, just to help you identify the opportunities, whether it's the CRM or some other. And the other thing too is we can make recommendations. Yes, we have a CRM solution that we provide. We're not always the best solution for clients. Sometimes there's a more cost-effective solution. Sometimes you already have something that's just showing you how to use it more effectively. But we're happy to help our clients identify the best way to leverage that and improve on their business.
Anyways, thank you so much, Eric. We really, really appreciate you